Welcome to my channel, The Plant Engineer. My name is Mehtab and I am a plant hobbyist and terrarium artist, and I make videos on these topics. If you've been following my channel for some time, then you must have seen that I have posted a lot of short videos or some long videos for various kinds of terrariums, moss gardens, waterfalls, paludariums, etc. etc. So today we are going to learn how to make a terrarium in 10 simple steps. Well, simple is relative, or a little far-fetched. What is simple for you may not be simple for me, or vice versa, but you get the point. Also, make sure that you watch this video till the end, as I will be giving a lot of bonus tips and you don't want to miss that. So let's get started. But before we get started, let's understand what is a terrarium. A terrarium is a closed ecological system in a glass jar which is able to sustain on its own, and it has its own nitrogen cycle and its own water cycle, and in which flora and fauna live symbiotically and help each other out. So thrive on its own means having minimal human intervention, because it is not really a true jungle. It's a jungle in a glass jar in your house. So the plants will grow from time to time and you have to do some maintenance and pruning of the plants, but we want to keep the maintenance to a minimum, or keep it as less as possible. Let the system live, let the system breed, let the plants thrive and grow on their own. This is what we aim when we think about making a terrarium. So basically, now that we know what is a terrarium, let's start building one. And like I said, I will guide you through 10 steps on how to make a terrarium. So step number 1 is choosing a container. Let's see what we have lying around. So here we have a collection of some containers which I could find. As you can see, some are open and some are closed. If you use this one, for example, making a terrarium, this one, or this one, these would be fine. But the problem is these are all open containers, so these would require some kind of acrylic lid, which I could find. For example, this one, you can use this to close this terrarium after it's done, or this one, or even this one, and they would all do fine. The problem is, every now and then, because there is not a tight seal, moisture will be leaving the container, so you have to keep maintaining it, putting more water every now and then, misting the plants. So we want to reduce the human intervention in these terrariums as less as possible and make the ecological system thrive on its own. So for that, I think the best options that we have is something like this, a closed container which comes with a tight lid, a rubber seal for that matter. However, I still don't like this one very much because it comes with this stainless steel lid, and so light cannot pass through here. Light can only pass through here, through the sides, and I just don't like the look of it. So I have this one, and this is a very nice 6-liter cookie jar which I have, and I like this one for this demonstration today because this one has a clear glass lid. As you can see, comes with a nice rubber seal as well, so moisture will remain inside and not leave the container unless we open it. So if you make a terrarium using this, it will require less maintenance and less human intervention, and that is exactly what we want. Now that we've chosen the right container, let's get started and make a drainage layer. So we'll open this thing up. So for a false bottom, you can use a couple of materials, something like this. This is LECA, or lightweight expanded clay aggregate. This is extremely lightweight and does a great job in forming a drainage layer. So what is a drainage layer is that when we put water on the soil or the substrate, the water seeps through it. The water must collect down at the bottom, and for that we have also other options like this, river pebbles or some white decorative pebbles, or if it's a very small container, we can also just put sand. So for this demonstration, I will use this LECA and just make a layer of. So now our drainage layer is ready and it looks like this. Next, we'll move on to step 2, that is the addition of a substrate barrier. So for a substrate barrier, you can use any kind of a mesh kind of thing like this. I had one lying around which I'm going to use for this now. It's very thin, so I might just double it. What we need to do is just place it on the table and cut the whole thing as per the size of this container. So friends, the next step is adding the substrate mix and charcoal. So here I have some broken charcoal in here, as you can see in this box. We're going to put a little layer of this charcoal in the terrarium. This is very important because it keeps the whole terrarium clean because in due course of time there will be bacteria in the terrarium, and this charcoal will do a great job in keeping the whole system clean and not smelling. I mean, it eliminates bad odors in the terrarium. That's why a thin layer of charcoal is very important. Next, we'll make a potting mix. The potting mix consists of a couple of items. First, we'll use these coco peat. I think you can see in the camera, on the camera. These are some bricks of coconut. You get it in a box like this in a garden store. You just take these out, put it in water, and then it expands and becomes something like this. So this is an excellent growing medium for plants. I have used it for potting and repotting several plants, and also used in terrariums. And then we'll use simple garden soil like this, and some perlite for aeration. It's also a great media for providing a little oxygenation and pockets of air in the substrate. And then we'll also use some orchid bark. So the terrarium soil is not really a soil. Terrarium soil is a mixture of various things. That's why it's called a substrate mix, because it's not just soil, it's soil plus coco peat plus perlite plus orchid bark. And then also, yeah, sorry, I forgot, we also have one more ingredient. And that ingredient is some dry sphagnum moss. So sphagnum moss will also be beneficial for holding the moisture in, so that we don't have to water the terrarium again and again. So guys, now that we have our premium mix of terrarium substrate, let's now start putting it in the terrarium. I got my Nescafe right here, because in order to do anything great in life, you need Nescafe. This is what we have come up with for the initial layering of the substrate. Now we are going to put some hardscape, and later on add more substrate at the front or at the back as necessary. When it comes to hardscape, there are lots of options available. For example, we have some dragon stones here, we have some lava rocks, and we have some pieces of driftwood which I pulled out from some of my previous scapes. But for our tutorial here today, I think I'm going to use some of the dragon stones and not these other things. Driftwood has a problem that sometimes in terrariums, because it's a moist environment and this is still wood, so it is prone to molding. However, when you put springtails or microfauna in your terrarium, these are small insects that we can put in the terrarium, that they will eat the mold in this, but it's not 100% guarantee that all the molds will be gone. So if I were to do this, I would avoid using driftwood in a terrarium, and then I would use, rather than something like a dragon stone or a lava stone, they work perfectly well. So choosing the right kind of plants for your terrarium goes a long way into the life of the terrarium. What we should do is, because this is a closed system, we want to use the plants which are tropical in nature, which love a lot of humidity. And I have a certain collection of plants which I have decided to use for this terrarium. I will show you now. That's a palm tree, that's some fluffy fern, couple of Fitonias, Fitonia nerve green, Fitonia red, this is begonia, this is a calathea, this is a bonsai tree, Ficus ginseng, this is Peperomia prostrata, and then my moss propagation box. I'm going to use some combination of all these plants and moss, and let's see what we can do inside this terrarium. At this point I realized that the video was getting a little longer than I'd expected, so I decided to put in the conclusion and bonus tips section in a separate video. If you've liked this video so far, do give me a thumbs up by pressing the like button, share this video with your friends and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And do remember to check out my next video as it's going to be full of exciting tips. So thanks for watching this video. This is the Plant Engineer signing off. Bye bye, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.